creepy, and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
We all knew this day was coming. Ukraine has just deployed more than 30 robot dogs to the front line. I mean, at this point, how does Black Mirror even predict this shit? Now, while they do not fire any ammunition, they are used to penetrate buildings or Russian trenches. Their cameras help to scout the surroundings, detect traps, or the movement of Russian forces, and they can even reach speeds of up to 15 kilometers per hour. Just imagine, you're at war and you see one of these things running at you. And although they come at a hefty 4,000 to 8,000 euros each, they're making up for that by taking on dangerous jobs that would usually risk the lives of 2 to 3 soldiers. So the question is, do you think that this is amazing or terrible?
I think the engineers took inspiration from Black Mirror to build it. Have you seen the episode, folks? Oh, by the way, I just want to announce that I'll be off for about a week due to a minor operation. It will take about 5 days for me to fully recover. Thank you.
Andiamo, la ponte.
I don't like the way he dragged the dog inside.
This is not CGI, and people were terrified as thousands of fishermen across the US have been spotting these hungry, cannibalistic, human-shaped fish, and they are stronger than our weapons. People were horrified after several news sites reported half-human, half-fish creatures in the ocean after a fisherman on his boat going 60 miles an hour noticed something swimming side by side with him that had a face and a tail, was screaming and speaking, and was not happy.
I hear him. Where's she at? What the is that noise from?
And when the fisherman stopped the boat, the creature is heard saying the phrase, "Jump for me."
What is that noise?
According to NASA, they are even unsure, as when they were exploring the deep sea going down 3,000 feet inside a glass submarine, a human-like webbed hand slammed their window.
Ooh.
Whatever it was had no oxygen with them, and when it swam away, footage caught its face, with dark black
Ooh.
eyes, gills on the face, and appeared like a person. They confirmed that even professional swimmers would likely need to hold their breath for at least an hour to go from there to the top of the water. Given all different cultures have drawn mermaids or sirens the same way back before the countries were even able to communicate with each other, many people believe these creatures are real.
Jump for me, I think that's what the thing says. Let me know how you feel about this.
85% of all high blood pressure diagnoses, 85%, are what we call idiopathic, meaning they're of unknown origin. So you go to the doctor and they say, hey, you got high blood pressure. Well, what's wrong? Well, your EKG is normal, your EEG is normal, your heart and lung sounds are normal, your dye contrast study is normal, your cardiac catheterization is normal. We tested your heart every which way we could. There's nothing wrong with your heart. We're still going to medicate your heart anyway. You're going to get beta blocker, calcium channel blocker, diuretic. Even though we don't know what's wrong, we're still going to give you medication. You're going to be on this for the rest of your life. Well, then why do I have it? Well, because your father had it or your grandmother had it. That's patently false. The majority of what's happening is there is an amino acid in the blood called homocysteine. You have it, I have it, you have it, we all have it in our bloodstream. Some people have a genetic impairment where they don't metabolize this homocysteine very well. In other words, they don't break homocysteine down and turn it into a harmless amino acid called methionine. You can take a simple amino acid called TMG. You could go to GNC and get it right now, $27 a month. You could take this amino acid, you could begin to metabolize this homocysteine. What happens when homocysteine rises in the human bloodstream is, as it's cruising by the inside lining of the arteries, right? It irritates the artery. If you irritate an artery, it clamps down. If you make the pipes smaller in a fixed system, this is a closed system. If I make the pipes smaller, pressure goes up. There's nothing wrong with your heart. Your blood vessels are constricted. You take an amino acid, metabolize homocysteine, the blood pressure, the vascular system relaxes, pressure returns to normal.
This is
Very informative.
everything you get if you win a gold medal at the Olympics in the Philippines. The last one is crazy. So you get about $350,000 cash in hand. Simple, take home, no tax, catch you later. You also walk away with a 3-bedroom house. So the cash is a bit less than some of the other countries, but you're walking away with a house. Then on top of that, little investment property as well. They give you a fully furnished apartment inside, and it says these exact words, in a wealthy neighbourhood. You're also walking away with an iPhone 16, which hasn't even come out yet. You get a digital safe, lock away the gold medal in one of your 2 new houses. You get 150,000 miles on Philippine Airlines. Now, this is every year. It resets another 150,000 miles, and it's for life. So pretty much free flights for life. And you might be thinking, oh, I'd probably fly more than 150,000 miles. Well, their competition, Cebu Pacific, will also give you 28 free flights as well. What about food? Athletes eat a lot. You get lifetime free buffet from Vikings. They've got all the food at this place called Vikings in the Philippines. Lifetime free food and drinks at all of the Tipsy Pig pubs in Philippines. So you never even have to buy a drink again. Plus, if you want to eat at home, a lifetime supply of ramen noodles.
All right.
And I know what you're thinking. That's a lot of food. What am I going to do with all that food? Where am I going to store all that food? Hell, you also get a lifetime supply of Tupperware to put all that food in. You can go and order as much food as you want, store it in the fridge in the new Tupperware that you get. And to tie all of this together, the last thing that you get from the Philippines for winning a gold medal, bringing gold back to the country is, starting at age 45 until the end of your life, you will get a lifetime of free colonoscopies. That's right. They
What?
constipate you with all the free ramen, then they clear it
Free
out with all the free
ramen?
colonoscopies.
Hey, you forgot the free bucket of cookies.
Oh, Jimmy. Yeah, what's up? There's some people here for you, and they just want to talk. Anonymous posted these 2 videos to their official TikTok page, and if there's one thing we all know, it's when Anonymous comes for you, you're cooked. The first one said, "Rest in peace, Mr. Beast," and this one says, "Jimmy knew." As somebody who has experience with the feds hunting him, I would rather be hunted by the feds than by Anon. If there's anything to find on you, they are going to find it, and it sounds to me like they've already got that in the bag. Oh, if I were you, Bubba, I'd try to get a head start and Forrest Gump your way up out of here. All these little pieces of things that you were trying to hide, all your dirty little secrets, the weird-ass people you've surrounded yourself with, it's all coming to light, Bubba. I think we all deeply underestimated Cat Williams' prediction that everybody would be drug into the light in 2024, and we owe that man a huge apology. It's all good, though, because some of us have just been waiting for this.
All the good things he does for the world, that's why probably he's covering up for something.
The government wants to buy my water and then rent it back to me.
I got a letter from the regional water district about a new government plan where they'll actually buy our water rights from us now and then rent the water back to us over a long term. And I'm a small farmer, and they offered me $80,000 for my little bit of water, and then they'd rent it back to me each year for $1,000 on a 10-year contract. That sounds pretty tempting, but so I guess the plan is you sell them your water and then you get it back with a small rent payment. I've got a couple concerns with that. One is what happens after 10 years. Do they increase the rate a ton? And 2, why do they want my water so bad? And also, I'm concerned that if I do steal water after I sell my water rights, would I get in more trouble from stealing from the government?
Of course.
And yes, it's raining for the first time in like 3 months. I love it. For those that live where it rains, you guys might not enjoy the rain as much as we do. When it rains, it's like getting free water. I guess rain technically is free water.
In Indonesia, all rivers are owned by the government, except for water sources, which can be bought and sold by the public.
South Africa is the richest country in Africa for whites. who, when you look at 7 million whites controlling 93% of the South African economy, their income per capita is over $56,000 every year. That's American level, US level. But the black South Africans, who constitute 54 million people in South Africa, have to share 7% of the economy. And when you look at that income per capita per person, it's $550 a year. That means black South Africans have a lower income per capita than any other African country. So they're the poorest Africans, so to speak. That's destabilized already.
You've said this before, and I remember it was one of the things we had to discuss, that you've said, and this is important for me as a black South African. Black South Africans pride themselves almost on having the best whites on the continent. We had whites that built Eskom and Sasol, and that's why we're better than you, and we beat our chests. But your argument is, sure, you guys live in Sandton, or we say you live in Sandton, but you actually in Alex. And now let's compare Alex to what you claim are poorer blacks in Nigeria, the Congo, Sudan, and they actually live better than you. Black people are not doing that like for like comparison. Yeah. We're boasting about, oh, look at Wits University. You never built Wits. And its greatness comes from the white Jewish business people. Boast about, they didn't even build Forte, but boast about an institution you've built. And you're basically saying black people in South Africa, who are 80%, only own 7% of the economy. And when you split it, it's $550 per black person. And white people, and I think in your tweet you also spoke about Indians, they control 93% of the economy. Yeah. And per person, that's about $56,000.
Yes.
We're living in two different worlds.
Two different worlds. And remember,
let me hear your opinion about this in the comment.
Do you guys know about that kid from Spain that's on the national soccer team?
Yeah, the 16-year-old.
What's his name? Lamine Yamal. Hey. Did you see the thing with Messi?
Yeah. This is the professional adult league.
He is, they're considering him possibly the best player in the entire tournament right now.
He's the youngest player in the Euro Cup to ever score a goal.
To ever play.
Like, so this is historic. Like, this is huge.
Yeah. 16 years old.
And not just goals, multiple goal contributions.
That's crazy. That is wild.
15 years ago, Lamine's family won a contest where they'd be featured in a magazine, and Lamine, as a 2-month-old, was bathed by Lionel Messi.
No way!
What the heck?
So people are saying that he was blessed by Messi at that point.
Something cosmic occurred.
Messi held on to some of them to have a pretty
yeah.
Is Messi in Miami?
Yeah. He's in Miami now, yeah.
What is it going to take for him to bathe me? Who am I going to become in 15 years? Who knows, man?
I think Messi was blessed by Lamine.
This is how you get in the car. Look how freaking cool this is. This is your door. Massive spoiler to the $4 million McLaren Solus GT. Now, you've got this completely open here. Here's your cockpit, one seat in the center. Again, fire extinguisher up here. F1 style steering wheel. There will only ever be 25 of these cars. It's a naturally aspirated V10.
Real one knows it was based off the McLaren Fish and Gran Turismo.
He came to give us righteousness.
他来是要赐公义给我们。
And righteousness is this word, lamb over me.
而义这个字就是羊在我之上。
Lamb
羊
over me.
在我之上。
So notice sacrifice always got to do with lamb.
注意到牺牲一直跟羊有关哎。
Now, remember many people say, and you heard it before, what about, you guys are Christians. You say God loves the world, but what about ancient China?
很多人在说，哎呀，你们一天到晚说神爱中国，这个可是你看古代中国人怎么办
What about all this ancient China?
那些古代的中国人呢
I'm so fed up of people talking to me like this.
每一次人家这样跟我讲，我都受不了了。
The next time somebody talk to you, especially during this Chinese New Year, you tell them this, what I'm going to tell you right now.
下次有人这样问你特别农历年的时候，你就把我现在要跟你讲的告诉他们啊。
This word, thousands of years old.
这个字已经几千年的历史了。
Longer before Jesus even came.
早在耶稣第一次降临之前就有了。
How do you write this word?
这个字怎么写的？
Originally, you take a lamb.
一开头你拿一只羊来。
and you use your hand, 手这边，
用你的手
you take a spear and pierce him.
拿把刀戳进去，
A spear.
一把刀割戳进去的。
So the Chinese already prophesied.
中文已经预言了，
God will bring his lamb.
神要赐下他的羊，
And people will take a spear with their hands, pierce him. And you know that happened on...
You are looking
man.
at who might actually be the dumbest human to ever live. Travis King is an American soldier who was stationed in South Korea in 2023. This guy was not a good person. He was constantly getting in fights, not listening to his superiors, and had possession of child videos. He knew he was facing a dishonorable discharge, so he booked a civilian tour to the North Korean border. While he was there, he sprinted over to the North Korean side, laughing maniacally in the process, according to witnesses. Of course, North Korean soldiers immediately arrested him and put him in a jail cell. No matter how bad your life is, it's gonna be worse in North Korea. They aren't exactly a make-yourself-at-home kind of country. Travis probably thought that the North Korean government would have taken him in as a defector. But he was completely wrong, because they didn't even want him. They sent him back to the US after only 2 months. They shooed him away like the worm that he was. So Travis is now also facing desertation charges in addition to everything else I mentioned previously. But at least his next home will be an upgrade from the one he had in North.
Getting kicked out of North Korea, that's a new level.
Evil eye is so strong. People's jealousy is so strong. And it's often jealousy from people who love us. And jealousy is defined as anything that causes someone else to feel lack or pain awakens the negative force of jealousy. So I often give the example if a woman is pregnant and her sister, who's been trying to get pregnant, can't, and you tell your sister, hey, I'm pregnant, and your sister feels so happy for you, but also it awakens her pain that she's not pregnant, she is subconsciously giving you evil eye and hurting the baby. So we always say the first 40 to 90 days of anything are so embryonic, so seed level, so vulnerable. Do not share unless it's with people who you absolutely must share. If a couple is pregnant, they should not share for 3 months with anyone, including parents, siblings, maybe your gynecologist, obviously, because for health purposes, maybe your husband or your partner for obvious reasons, but you do not want to share because what happens is energetically it becomes vulnerable. Even if these people are happy for you, there could be a chance that they tell people, which often people do, and those people will awaken lack and have jealousy. And that could hurt the transfer of the soul, which is coming to the embryo within those first 90 days. So in the first 90 days, the soul of the baby is coming down in a strong way. And any negative energy, such as evil eye or jealousy, could disturb that and result in a miscarriage or other complications.
This is crazy. But let me know how you feel about this.
Raw dogging is the latest craze on social media, but now experts are warning that the travel trend could kill you. Raw dogging, where travelers consume no entertainment, snacks, or even take bathroom breaks on a flight, could now lead to death, according to experts. From potential dehydration to deep vein thrombosis, idiots are filmed putting themselves at risk for the views. Nutritionist Toby King has dubbed it one of the most dangerous trends, and people online have also pointed out that the raw doggers simply aren't getting their money's worth on flights.
I thought raw dogging was going out with no socks in sandals.
Over for him. We won't hear from him again. His image ended on social media. He will die in prison for the rest of his life. A shooting star that goes out in the middle of the night. It's hard to understand what he did. What did he do wrong? I'll explain everything to you, but remember to subscribe. You see him often in classes. You with your head down, but you never asked yourself why. He's Travis Scott, formerly styled Travis de la Scott. Real name, Jack Berman Webster II. Born April 30th, 1991 in Houston, Texas. Travis is an American rapper, singer, producer, musician, actor, model, and director. The American rapper was in Paris to attend the Olympic basketball semi-final. But it went wrong in the end after his country won the match. While drunk, the American rapper was arrested at the George Hotel, in the vicinity of fields designated by the French police. According to information gathered, the rapper had an altercation with his own bodyguard. It was then that a security guard appeared to separate them. But unfortunately, he would have suffered violence, punches from Travis Scott. For this fact, French law condemns 20 years of imprisonment without bail. What do you think about this artist? Could he regain his freedom? Your answer in the comments and subscribe.
It's not over for him, and he's not going to prison. He just released a song with Asake.
The royal families, these blue buds,
their blood was actually blue color because they drunk out of silver. How many of the old people here that had been here before refrigeration knows that they used to put a silver coin in milk and the milk would last longer? The bacteria wouldn't die. So silver is a great, great factor. There's no question about it. For years and years and years, every child that was born had a drop of silver put in his eyes. Syphilis was so prevalent, there was a lot of blindness. And it was one of the few things that would kill the syphilis in the eye. Kelp must be put in a soil supplement because we're not getting the iodine out of the salt because they told us salt is bad for us. And it really, that the salt they've given us is bad for us. When you bleach it to death and chlorinate it to death and you take and put aluminum in the stuff so that it'll, when it rains it pours, and sugar. Sugar is great by itself when it was the old way, but when you take and bleach the damn stuff, bleaching turns things to the right. Bleaching is electrified salt. You make it by putting an anode and a cathode in a salt brine and turn it on, and that makes chlorine gas. I have a way of looking at things a little different than most people, and I try to mix a little humor with it because I'd hate like hell to take life serious.
I heard that blood is blue in everyone's body and it only turns red when it's exposed to oxygen out of the body. Is that right?
Oh my God! Wow. Sir, it's a pleasure. Nice to meet you. Pleasure. Thank you. Holy what the What's up, brother? I just met Trump. We just met Trump. Look, we just met Trump.
Yo, we just met Donald Trump.
Crazy, bro.
Crazy.
I'm geeking, bro.
Yo, my mom's gonna flip out. My mom.
Yeah, my dad loves Trump too. Look at Trump. He's a beautiful ghost. He's the best beautiful president ever. Look at Mike Tyson, though. You can't forget about Big Mike. Here you go. All right. Is it right if I take a picture? How you doing, Rock, by the way? Nice to meet you. Hey, Mr. President. How are you?
Good, I'm good.
Good. You're an inspiration. You're a legend. Thank you so much for everything. You're gonna get back in there in no time.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Take care.
All right, you too. All right.
No, hold on. Give me the face. Give me the face.
God.
You're president.
Mr. Trump.
And that was the start of extremely successful stream Edin did with Trump.
It's the middle of the day. There are people waiting to get their nails done. You can see the women are chatting. And then out of nowhere, this guy comes in.
The unwelcome patron appears to be armed.
There was an initial moment of shock of what's happening.
Everybody get down! Get out of the money!
But nobody budges.
Just looking at him.
This is the quintessential example of unbothered.
Look at the Chinese
I can't
lady.
tell if they're just thinking, I've been in Atlanta long enough to know when there's really a gun in a plastic bag and that doesn't look like it.
The manager even casually answers the phone, as if the robber isn't there.
He tried everything he could to make these people react.
Give me the money! Where's the money? Everybody give me everything! Where's the money?
Give me everything.
Deflated, the robber turns and walks out the door.
This is humbling. I would have followed him out to give him a hug.
If you've never heard of the Roman circus theory, you should watch this video.
I don't care how long he works and I don't care what he does. There is no job worth $2 million a year. That's why they pay athletes these fantastic salaries. I was listening to the radio the other day. They just contracted to pay one player on one team $6 million. Can you believe this?
And why is that?
It's the Roman circus. What does the emperor do when the people become restive? And when the people are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor, he sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum. And he begins to throw the Christians to the lions. And he has great chariot races and football games and basketball games, all to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world, so that they don't have the time to learn what the truth is, so they don't ever get smart enough to learn how they're being manipulated, so they don't ever question the emperor. That's why they pay a player on a football team $3 million a year. It is the Roman circus.
Wow, yeah, spot on. And that's just it. The rulers of this world don't care what you believe in, as long as you believe in something, as long as you're not paying attention to what they're doing. But they are the few and we are the many. The only real way they can control us, and they know this, is by causing enough divisiveness and having us kill each other first. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe out there.
Supply and demand is a better answer.
New Yorkers, they want me to do jury duty? I'm not qualified for this type of power. I am a hater with major pain, anger, and Judas jealousy in my blood. I can't see anybody win. And I love out the lockup too much for me not to get it next season. I only know live version of the first 48 of my life. I don't care who on that stand. I've been wanting to say guilty my whole life. I don't even like the get out of jail card in Monopoly. So if your lawyer walks in like this, and he looking through all this paperwork and can't find your case, while your mother's crying in the back, and your daddy's outside smoking a cigarette, you're going to jail. Well, while I'm down there, I'm going to try to find the district attorney. Because if I see one more person cutting their nails on the train, I'm going to lose my mind. This should be illegal. Nail things flying in my face and my shirt while you over here just clipping away. I got to find his room.
I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but there's a lot of people who think Pokemon is one of the many tools of Satan. Have you heard this before?
Yep.
I've heard you told. I remember I think I've heard it from you.
It's not just me, but I want to sort of trace a timeline here. You were playing Pokemon, and then you decided to go fight in Ukraine.
I was playing Pokemon for 2 months. Is that enough time, do you think? I don't know.
So somewhere while you were playing Pokemon, and just tell me the truth, is that when sort of you started thinking it might be a good idea to go fight in a war?
I had more kind of aimless thoughts, let's just say. When I'd be fighting and everything on the game, I was letting my mind wander. And part of that, again, I was involved in combat on the game.
All right. See, this is what many folks are saying, is that somehow built into Pokemon, it's this hypnotic, satanic game that is seductive in nature, that the Pokemon themselves represent various entities, demons. Have you ever heard of the Lesser Key of Solomon?
Mm-mm.
Can we pull up the Lesser Key of Solomon? The original Pokemon, I guess you could call this.
The Lesser Key was a way to summon demons. So I guess if Pokemons represent demons, that's the connections?
I thought that gold medals were actually made of solid gold, but they're very much not. They're only worth like $900.
No,
they have a little bit of gold.
So we should call them silver medals.
Like the silver medal is like the most, it's honoring its truth. Yeah, it's the most authentic medal. I literally thought you just got like a gold bar for winning, being the best in the world at your sport.
I thought it was like papal gold.
Me too.
Like Vatican gold.
Dug up from underneath the Vatican, pressed into metal form, and then given to people.
Grecian
but no,
gold.
it's like a fake. You could like buy it at the farmer's market.
Back in the day, the tradition of gold medal winners biting their medals started out as a way to check, the authenticity of the gold, as it would be soft and you'd leave teeth imprints.
No, I don't like you people to use chemicals. We use natural food.
Yeah.
Which heals. Can I tell you?
Yeah.
This is produced by chemicals.
It is. It's very true.
You are putting chemicals in your body. When you say it, you don't care what will happen. You are saying, I'm wearing a good shirt.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That you are practicing witchcraft on your body yourself with your mind. So people don't think about that.
And Fisi, but they tell me it's breathable and it's got air-wicking pockets and it's sweat-proof.
What about this?
I mean, that's just gazelle, right? That's just one gazelle skin.
It says in the Bible not to mix fibers in clothing. I've always wondered about this.
heard of that new company called Friend?
Dude, I saw this last night.
It's a startup company, or they're pre-selling this product. And what it is it's a necklace.
Looks like a life alert.
But it's AI. It's called Friend because you talk to it and interact with it, and it texts you. So like you'd be like, what do you think about this? And I'd be like, I don't know how I feel about that. You can like change the settings to be like more like empathetic or like gossipy
or flirty
or bros during the commercial. Like it's like a guy loses at a game and it basically is like, hey, you know, you suck, basically. Like just like kind of like just playing, being friendly and stuff. But it's like really strange because you give it access to your camera, and so it like it'll say, hey, how's that Subway sandwich going?
So it's observing your life. You're literally giving
Everything.
access to everything.
Inside jokes. I mean, you're wearing it around work, and imagine when it's picking up. Like, it's a crazy thing. It's her just around your neck now.
Yeah.
It's super crazy.
I'd rather be alone than talk to a necklace.
3 things that happen when you pray between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. Number 1, God will give you a revelation about who you are. Who you are goes beyond what people think they know. What people think they know is what they think they know. Life starts in the spirit. Whether you believe it or not, there is a script in the spirit that was written about you. And until you know that script, you will not understand or know why you were born. It is that script that will condition who you marry. That same script will reveal to you how the person you marry is to fit in your life and how you are to fit in their life. You don't have to wait for a man or a woman of God or a prophet to come and reveal this script concerning your life. You can download this script for yourself, and you download that script by praying between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. There are doors or gates in the spirit that will never be unlocked until you take the watch of 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. going to 6 a.m. serious. Why 3 a.m. and 5 a.m.? Not 12 a.m. or any other time? Well, the answer is simple. Beside 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. being the watch or the hour of the chosen, it is also known as the hour of encounters, revelation. It is believed that Jacob's name changed between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. when he wrestled against the angel of the Lord, where his name was changed from Jacob to Israel. And notice, if you may, the moment the angel changed his name, his life changed.
One thing I learned from praying around that time is that God answers so fast. He did it to me. Clip this part, folks. This is real jam.
I get a phone call. He goes, hey, I need to meet you guys uptown in the Target parking lot. Separate cars. 8:30. We get there and we're waiting, and the parking lot is desolate. He comes in the white Durango, says, come in the car. We get in the car. Hey, listen, the brown duffel bag is yours, which is my partner. The black duffel bag is mine. Okay, cool. I'm on the right side. I'm seeing him. I'm going to text you the address. It's in Yonkers. It's about a 40-minute drive. I'm going to the bathroom, and then we could kind of all head out. All right, cool, but you guys could head out now, separate vehicles. We do exactly that. We exit the car and exit out. I look at my Nike fuel band, and it's like 8:50, 9 o'clock. I look at my partner, he goes, oh, I might have to pump gas. And then I look at the time again, I'm like, well, hurry up. And then as soon as I look back, it's a hearse rental car. Doors bust open, DEA agents, vests, guns out, get on the ground, get on the ground, get on the ground. And I look at my partner, I have the duffel bag in my hand, and I'm just like a deer in headlights. He's looking at me, a deer in headlights. Everything is slow motion. I don't hear anything. I just start seeing cars coming left and right, squad cars, guns everywhere, and I'm just frozen. The only thing I feel is the knee of a DEA agent pinning me to the ground, taking off my personal protection firearm, unloading it and cuffing me within 3 seconds. And I'm looking at my partner face to the pavement, and I'm just like, Steven, wake up. You gotta wake up. This is bad. This is very bad. Where the did we go wrong? Why did you not see this happen? Holy moly. He's looking at me, I'm looking at him. We get thrown in the squad car. I'm in the back seat. There's a young lady with a vest on, DEA agent, credentials on her neck. There's a big white guy sitting next to me, heavily tatted, and he's just looking at me and he goes,
Everyone should watch the whole interview on YouTube. He's an amazing and thoughtful storyteller. Highly recommend it. Just type in Matthew Cox Steven Dominguez interview on YouTube.
Coming to New York, how many blocks is how we navigate. Our S clubs suck, and we don't go there to eat. There is no Waffle Houses. We don't eat grits. We go to diners with our drunk white friends and order disco fries.
Whoa, what the?
Mexicans are not our majority. It's Puerto Rican and Dominicans. Pick up a bottle means you're going to be drinking at someone's apartment. Lucy means this. With them being $12 a pack, you'll probably sell more on the street than you in hell. We don't listen to him. Wendy's is dangerous. He will be sitting next to you while you eat. We don't care about celebrities. They'll be right on the train and we don't give a shit. And Mike Woods and Rosetta have been on TV before 9/11. That's a long time.
Easily some of the strangest stuff I've ever seen on the internet, and it has to do with light. So when you shine a laser exactly on a hole drilled in a bottle or something with water in it, the laser will follow the water stream. That is a property of light called refraction, and it's how we see rainbows. In total refraction like this, it would be like shining the laser pointer on your hand, but it's going through the stream of water. Now if you use that same laser and you shoot it through a water droplet that's dripping off a syringe, you can create a microscope, hoping your water's not that dirty. This one's insane. This is from a guy called Art Pete Repeat. He does these cool color and light experiments. You should definitely give him a follow. If you have a red, green, and blue flashlight and you shine them all together, what combines in the middle is white light. This is basic color theory. It has to do with the harmonics of waves. Light is a wave. If you create a barrier or a slit and put it in the middle of that white light, you can split it back up into its parts. That's not even the coolest part. The shadow is the inverse of that slit. Waves are related through geometry. Those three colors are related in a triangle. The inverse of that triangle is the shadow colors. The shadow will cancel out its inverse passing through the slit due to interference. Some waves constructively interfere and some destructively interfere. That's destructive interference. This is a wild one. This is called stereographic projection. It's how maps are made. This is the process of taking something in a higher dimension like 3D and converting it into 2 dimensions using just light and shadows. This is how we make maps. It gets weirder when we get smaller. This is a photon, or a hologram of one at least. They move in packets, kind of like sound waves. Notice that shape. That shape is the same shape as the Great Pyramid when viewed from the top down. It is 8-sided. I know what you're thinking. What does that have to do with a photon? It's just a coincidence. The corner slope angle of the Great Pyramid is 42 degrees. You remember what 42 degrees is? It is the refractive angle of the sphere. The interior angle is a golden ratio lower. That golden ratio. A perfect glass sphere will bend light at a phi ratio. That's where the intersection point is.
Is that the Knights Templar cross? You know, that the photon makes?
Just terrible government overreach. You're seeing it now in England where people are getting arrested for tweets.
Yeah.
England, you know, people talk about Soviet Russia, like how bad Russia is in terms of cracking down on thought police and cracking down on bad tweets and things like that. I think the statistics are, I think England I think there's something like 4,000 people have been arrested in England for thought crimes where they've said things online that people find to be a hateful thing or a problematic thing. And I think it's only 200 in Russia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe in Russia they're too scared to do it at all.
Could be. Yeah. But the fact that they're comfortable with finding people who've said something that they disagree with and putting them in a cage in England in 2024 is really wild.
Yeah.
Especially they're saying you can get arrested just for retweeting something.
The offence of incitement to racial hatred involves
publishing or distributing material which is insulting or abusive, which is intended to or likely to start racial hatred. So if you retweet that, then you're republishing that, and then potentially you're committing that offence. And we do have dedicated police officers who are scouring social media. Their job is to look for this material and then follow up with identification arrests and so forth. So it's a really, really serious. People might think they're not doing anything harmful. They are, and the consequences will be visited upon them.
And here's the problem with that. Even if you say, yeah, well, people shouldn't tweet hateful things. I agree. They shouldn't. But who's to decide what is a hateful thing?
That's the problem.
That's
subjective.
the problem. It's very subjective.
And it still shouldn't be a crime.
And in our lifetime, we've seen that get moved, right? So it used to be, if a guy thought he was a woman, and his name was Doug, and you grew up with Doug, and all of a sudden Doug wants to be called Debbie, if you call him Doug, it's no big deal. Like, yeah, maybe you're being rude to call him Doug, but it's not a hate crime, okay? Well, now a lot of people think it's a hate crime, and that got you banned from Twitter for life. So if you dead named someone on the old Twitter, you are banned for life. Dead name, not even making up a name. You can call him an idiot. You can call someone an idiot, okay? Forget about a man and a dress, maybe that's a problem. But if you call like a regular guy an idiot, you stupid fine, no problem. But if you call Doug, you will get banned for life. Okay, that's the new hate speech. That's crazy. Now, if that keeps going, that didn't exist before, if that keeps going, maybe you can go to jail for calling him Doug. Maybe they think it's okay to put you in jail because you violated their hate speech law.
Anyone from UK and wants to share your opinion, please drop a comment.
Actually mean to love your wife as Christ loves the church.
Jesus came to serve, not to be served. That meant he wasn't thinking about himself. His Father was taking care of him. He was taking care of us. A husband has to learn how to wake up in the morning, always have Christ first, because you can't do it apart from him. But when you look at your wife, you want to 100% serve her. Do you remember the last thing Jesus did was he washed her feet? He said, this you should do too. In other words, he's saying, I want to ask God exactly what my wife needs 24 hours a day. I remember when he showed me, he said, who knows your wife better than anybody? I said, you do. He said, well, get to know me first and I will show you what she needs.
That's good.
Life is just a very long story about how you die. Because in the end of anyone's life, they die. Isn't that concerning?
Long story of how you live, life is longer than dying.
6 things that you should always keep private. Number 1, your dreams and your goals. Studies have shown that when people talk about what they're going to do, it kills their own motivation. In a sense, it's like they feel like they already did it. You got to get started. Do it in silence. Be strong about it. Number 2, keep your private life private. Trust doesn't exist anymore. You tell somebody not to tell somebody, of course they're going to tell somebody. Bad news, especially bad news, travels fast. Number 3, family problems. Never discuss your family problems with anybody. Families deal with issues in different ways. Some of them are orthodox, some of them are unorthodox. The person you're talking to may not agree with the way you deal with your family issues, but it may be totally normal to them. Number 4, never brag about your belongings, because people, I should say, talk about your material belongings, because people think you're bragging. That's why I came out with the wrong word in the first place. And nobody likes a braggosaurus, you know. Keep your acts of kindness to yourself. That's number 5. The world needs a lot of kindness today, and it's wrong, in my opinion anyway, to show your kindness while other people are watching. And the last thing, number 6, keep your money and your finances separate, private. People, have a tendency to get jealous about what other people have. Even family members get jealous. I remember when I was 22, 23 years old, my dad made a pretty decent salary. And I started my own business and I started actually making more than him. And believe it or not, my dad got mad at me. God bless his soul, he's been dead for 20 years, but just give you an example, money, keep it to yourself, it causes problems. Have a great afternoon.
I never understood why people are so openly about their business and how it works. Always move in silence, folks.
He said, if you keep doing what you're doing right now and you stay on this trajectory, you got 10.4 years. His name is Gary Brecka. He's a human biologist. He's not a doctor, and he's a mortality expert. So he used to work for the insurance companies, which he says are the dirtiest businesses on planet Earth. Basically, they send these guys in like him. They do these tests on you, and they know when you're going to die. So I'm like, wait a minute. This guy can tell me when I'm going to die and be right within a month?
Just your blood, pretty much.
Yeah,
and DNA.
Your blood and your DNA. I became obsessed.
Yeah.
Obsessed. So I had to meet this guy. I had to have him tell me when I was going to die, which most people didn't. Were like, you're crazy. Why would you want to know that? So I went down there. They did my blood work. So he comes out on Wednesday, and the thing that got me is I believe in nothing until you prove to me that what you're talking about is true. This guy sat down. He knows nothing about my medical history. I told him nothing about how I feel, what's going on. He sat down for 3 hours, walked through my blood work, and told me every single thing that was wrong with me. He also told me what was wrong with my parents, and he was right about everything. So by the time I was done talking to him, I was blown away. Then he said, so do you want to know how many years you have left? And I'm like, yeah. He gave me 10.4 years.
10.4?
Russia keeps playing chess while Ukraine and the US decide to play checkers. And this man has been single-handedly dismantling the US economy through Ukraine. I mean, imagine this, right? And I want you to think realistically, right? Russia, just a couple days ago, said that it's battling a surprise cross-border assault by Ukraine. The specific area where Ukraine is claiming that they're, in quotations, invading Russia right now, right, is an area where allegedly there are more reservists than actual Russian soldiers. And through every single report that I can find and people that I'm associated with in Russia, I can tell you, I can promise you, no actual Russian soldier has moved off the front lines. And the more foreign aid that comes from the US to Ukraine, right, is less support that Putin has to worry about the US being able to provide. That would be called strategic warfare. I mean, is nobody aware that OPEC Plus has dropped the petrodollar as of recently? And do you know how many billions of barrels of oil that Putin and Russia has been able to discover within the last 6 months alone, especially in Antarctica? Slowly but surely dismantling every single resource that the United States and Ukraine has, all while using their lowest grade technology. Actually, realistically think about that, okay? People say, oh, well, Russia's been having their hands full for the past 2 years. But realistically, during those 2 years, more Ukrainian soldiers have managed to lose their lives for absolutely no reason. While the only deaths that have occurred on Russia's side, right, just so happen to be reservists. And that might be fucked up on Putin's part, but you have to actually realistically think about this, right? This is war. And nobody in America complains about all their veterans that just so happen to be homeless and lying in ditches. So I'd say those moves have a lot of similarities, you feel me? But have you managed to see the Japanese stock market as of recently? It's had a pretty rough time as of recently. And do you realize that Japan just so happens to be one of the US's top marketing consumers? So if trade prices just so happen to increase between the US and one of their top marketing consumers, one would assume that it would make it harder on the economy in the US, right? Putin is playing the long game here, and nobody wants to realize that because everybody wants to put his ass up on this pedestal of fate. Everybody wants to blame Putin as if he's in the wrong for every decision that's been made. But yet everybody fails to realize why the initial attacks took place in Ukraine to begin with. And if you'd like to see that, you can go check out my comment section because I'm not going to say that openly here on a video. Some things that you say out in the open here on TikTok, TikTok's AI does not like. But why not use a crippling nation to dismantle an entire empire? Especially if they just so happen to be tens of trillions of dollars in debt already. And is it not ironic that so many US banks just so happen to be confessing how many losses that they've accumulated in the past couple months alone? We're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars here. And what do you think will happen with Ukraine if hypothetically a bank collapse just so happens to occur? They just received all those F-16s, but there's got to be a reason as to why they haven't used them yet, right? And now Biden just so happens to not be in office anymore, ironically. People got to start seeing the bigger picture. They got to start connecting the dots here. Do you not think that hypothetically if a collapse happens, that an invasion will not occur? Or have you wondered to yourself if an invasion has occurred already? You know, ironically, under the Biden administration, millions of undocumented migrants just so happen to cross the border legally from over 20 different nations, a lot of them being military-age men. And look at all the controversy that so many of them are causing in every single nation that's associated with the US. Have you seen the UK as of recently? Once again, Putin and Russia are playing chess while the US, NATO, and Ukraine are playing checkers. And regardless of what you want to think or how patriotic you want to be, you might want to come face to face with reality and realize that, hey, maybe Russia won't actually lose this war after all. But hey, that'd be common sense, right? Nobody uses that anymore. Putin does not want to use nuclear weapons, people. And soon you'll see the exact result of Putin not having to use them in the first place. Because Putin actually cares for the people to begin with. And sometimes you have to sacrifice your weakest forces to be able to make that happen.
Absolutely brilliant analysis. This dude definitely knows his stuff. Let me know how you feel about this.
I, Chinese American, support Trump. All right. So the reason is the Democrat administration, Biden administration, lead this country towards socialism and eventually towards communist dictatorship. We came from China. We know this is the way. This is not like people here don't understand what is a communist is. We know communist is. What a communist is. That's why we support Trump.
This is really interesting because I'm also Chinese American myself. So I
you haven't lived in China, I guess.
I did. I grew up in China.
Oh,
I grew up in China till I was 17. I'm from Shanghai, but yeah, I don't want to talk about my opinions because I'm a journalist. So I just want to hear more about your opinions. You know, as immigrants, a lot of people might say that Trump is anti-immigrants, or
Trump is not anti-immigrant. It's just against illegal immigrant. It must be lawfully ordered.
Set aside Trump versus Kamala. Look at the accomplishments. Look at the economy while surfing. Look at more than just what your news channel says.
It's pretty wild to me.
I'm getting virgin vibes.
Yeah.
Like, it's the baby face.
Are you in or are you going to go to college? I'm actually graduating this spring. I'm a third year in college. Oh shit, so you're not that young. Okay.
You graduated?
I am.
Definitely not getting pussy yet. You're too busy studying.
We hold hands. Do you feel nervous? How does it make you feel if I just, you ever seen Legally Blonde? Just a little bit of What's wrong?
There's no need for me to be looking down there.
It's just crazy how we've become so perverted as a culture that as soon as a man has standards and tries to treat women with dignity and chivalry, all of a sudden that's awkward. I think we need to make this cool again, quite frankly. Send this to somebody who needs it.
He's the only adult there. The rest act like middle schoolers.
Everything that you perceive about energy is nothing more than oxygen in your blood. If you told me, Gary, I had a lot of energy today, physiologically what you're saying is I had a lot of oxygen in my blood today. So if oxygen equals energy, which it does, then if we want to raise your waking energy, we need to raise the amount of oxygen your blood transports. So now take somebody who's borderline anemic or just low on red blood cells, low on hemoglobin, not transporting oxygen well. Now they go to sleep. So they lay down. What's the first thing that happens? Their respiratory rate starts to fall. So now as their respiratory rate falls, they're bringing in less oxygen to a bloodstream that's already poor at transporting it. And what does the brain do when it notices your blood oxygen get low? It pulses cortisol to wake you up. So these people look like a bouncing rubber ball going down a hallway. They can sleep 11 hours and not wake rested. You know, when I talk about the biometric chain in the human body, when you take a condition somebody has like, I'm low on energy, and you convert that to physiology, what it really means is I'm low on oxygen. So now when you say, okay, we're low on oxygen, let's trace that back into the root. How could I raise blood oxygen? Well, I look at the red blood cell and hemoglobin. If I see that that's low, I say, well, where are red blood cells and hemoglobin made? They're made in the bone marrow. So now you go to the bone marrow and you say, well, why are you not producing enough red blood cell and hemoglobin? Well, we have to go to the boss of the bone marrow, which is the hormone testosterone. In men and women, one of the primary roles of testosterone is not male characteristics. It's not aggression, facial hair, deep voice, muscles. Primary role of testosterone is to put pressure on the bone marrow to create new red blood cells. It's called erythropoiesis. So if you show me somebody who is deficient in the hormone testosterone, I will show you somebody who's very likely deficient in red blood cell and hemoglobin and is also tired.
I'm at 161,000 to buy everything. I'll buy the whole package. I can cash you out, no problem. Oh, I can flip up and down from 161. That's where I'm at. So you can gamble. It could be 171, 151 if you want, 10 G's up and down. I don't care to do that.
All right.
Mazal. 161? Yeah. Mazal. Done deal. Mazal. Done so. If you win, I'm getting a $100 discount. If I win, I'm getting $200 discount on every single watch.
150, bro. I think that's fair.
Yalla, done. 100 to 150. Pull out the freaking coin. Let me show them how the fuck we dance over here. Let's go. You call it. Heads or tails. $100 off each watch at 150.
Oh. Heads.
Tails, baby. Tails. Tails, baby. $150 off each watch. And we're gonna dance a little salsa today here at fucking Midtown, baby. You know what goes on. That's a done deal. I'd like a touch under 30,000. With the bracelet, 29,200. I could pay you out cash.
29.2, what do you do? 29.5, throw some of the shit in.
I'll let you keep this, and I'll give you the 29.5 just so we can get the Mazal going. 29.5, and you keep your strap. 29.5 Mazal. Let's get it. Done deal. Mazal, my brother. And package number 4. I just bought this because I'm crazy. I want you to guess how much I paid on this. Question mark.
That Chrome Hearts Rolex is very nice.
No amount of exercise hits cardio, no type of cardiovascular or weight training that comes anywhere close to immersing yourself in cold water in terms of what will strip fat off your body fast. If you want to strip fat off your body, get in cold water 3 to 6 minutes a day.
That's fascinating. Because the oxygen rushes to my head, that's why it has a really profound impact on mood.
That's why it has a very profound impact on mood, because if you think about it, what's the reason why we need deep sleep? What happens in deep sleep that's so special? There's a secondary oxygen transfer. We transfer oxygen from the periphery, from the extremities, to the brain. Remember, the brain's a non-metabolic organ. So in other words, it's unlike a muscle. If I pick up a weight and start to work out my muscle, my arm, my body will send more blood, more amino acids, more oxygen to that muscle because it's working. Well, if I'm sitting at my computer and I'm watching reruns of The Simpsons, or I'm sitting in my computer and I'm solving the most complex joint venture agreement, partnership agreement with all kinds of mathematical equations, my brain gets the same amount of nutrients, same amount of blood flow, same amount of oxygen. So it eats the same meal, whether or not it's in a dead sprint or whether or not it's just chilling on the couch, except in deep sleep and when you're in cold water, because it's forcing the oxygen up to the brain.
Would a cold shower do the same thing?
Have you ever heard of Erin Valenti, the woman who claimed to have proof that we live in a simulation on Earth? She was a tech entrepreneur and the CEO of Tinker Ventures, a company that worked on some of the coolest web and mobile apps. But her story took a dark and mysterious turn in October 2019. Before her death, Erin made a series of frantic calls to her family, saying things like, "It's all a game, it's a thought experiment, we're in the Matrix." Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? Erin had been attending tech conferences in California when she suddenly went missing. 5 days later, she was found dead in her rental car in San Jose. The official cause of death was acute manic episode, but the strange and unsettling nature of her final messages has left people in the tech world and beyond buzzing with speculation. What do you think about this mystery? Let us know in the comments.
This theory has also been publicly discussed by Elon Musk multiple times, including one on the Joe Rogan podcast.
A man fell behind a large refrigerator unit at the supermarket where he worked in 2009. Now, he was seriously trapped, but his cries for help were drowned out by the noise of the coolers. Days passed, and weeks turned into months with no leads on his whereabouts. It was 10 years later that contractors began working on the now abandoned supermarket. As they moved the refrigerator unit, they found the man's remains wedged behind it.
His family doesn't even try to find him.
Here's a quantum quickie that will supercharge all of your meridians. We are going to tap on K27. This is your kidney meridian that runs up your body, and it ends right here. Here's your collarbone, here's your sternum, and you're going to come down an inch from your collarbone and over an inch from your sternum. There's a little divot right there. Can you feel it? That's it. That's K27. Now what I want you to do is thump it. The kidney meridian meridian is the beginning of all of the stream of meridians that run through your body. It actually begins in the bottom of your foot at the wellspring of life. It comes all the way up through your body, and it ends right here at kidney 27. So when you activate the kidney meridian, do you know what you're doing? You are activating the flow of the entire series of meridians, all 12 of them that run through your body. So anytime you can do this, give it a thumb.
Stop buying cars, start buying horses. A lot of people in Dubai try to show off in their supercars. The real horsepower and the real value is in actual horses. What can you do in your supercar in Dubai? You can only go 120k down Sheikh Zayed Road. If you go faster, you get a speeding ticket. Race horses are where the real fun is. Take it to the racetrack, you get to pet it. It's an actual pet. You see it up close. You can enjoy a day out once a week. The networking possibilities amongst the racehorse community is unmatched. The amount of money that you can make for racehorses is exponential. Some people buy racehorses for $10, $15, $20,000. They win a big race. Immediately after the race, that horse is worth 15 times what they bought it for. I bought a horse for around 25,000 euros. It came third in a very big listed race. I got offers the following day for more than 3 times what I paid for the horse. That is where the real fun is. I have 4 racehorses now in total, all in Europe. The most expensive one was 95,000 euros, and it was the best investment I ever made. And as you can see, I only have 2 cars. One of them is to take the dog to the beach, and the other one was a free gift. So cars are for boys, horses are for real men.
Stop buying horses, start buying camels. Oh yeah. I like him. He has become so much fun. Alright folks, thank you for staying till the end. Be kind to each other. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And don't forget to like or dislike so I can make a better content. There's a free gift below. And if you want to buy me coffee or support me through Patreon, the links are in the description below. Have a prosperous day and God bless.